Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the BMA Chronicles. Tonight is our Healthy Wednesday segment. And last Monday we talked about brownouts, talk about rotational brownouts actually in several areas of Luzon due to declined power reserves, no? Due to the fact that we do not have enough power anymore because of summertime, okay? And there is a greater and a higher power demand because of the heat. That's why tonight, we will talk about how we could be able to conserve energy. All right? So, noong Lunes, pinag-usapan natin yung mga dahilan ng power outage, dahilan ng rotational brownout. Ngayon naman ay pag-uusapan natin ang tinatawag nating how to conserve energy and why is it so important to conserve energy. So before we continue on, let's watch this video for a while.
U.S. Energy Information Administration reported on June 15, 2020, that global electricity consumption continues to rise faster than populations. When the coronavirus pandemic erupted worldwide, billions of people were forced to stay indoors for a long period of time. Many were dependent on what little energy they had amounted to survive. However, inasmuch as those who knew their limitations, many succumbed to greed and ignorance.
Have to admit that all of us are guilty of not conserving energy. Am I right? I mean, just sometimes watching television and you do not switch it off even if you're doing something else. Okay? And the lights in the other parts of the house, sometimes you forget to switch it off. Sometimes you just, there are some people that just do not want the dark. So they would like to have the lights on. Okay? And, turning off all our power gadgets at home when we're not using it is actually saving electricity. And in turn, what do you have? You save money. Sabi ni Kuya Joey, pag naka-on yung aircon at malamig na sa madaling araw, i-off mo na at mag-electric fan ka na lang. May magigising ka pa niyan, di ba? Okay. So what does it mean to conserve? Well, conserve in its simplest term means to preserve or to keep something for it to last even longer. Okay? Electrical shortage is rampant, especially in summer season like us. And the thing is, the heat has changed so much for a good number of years. This was not like 30 years ago. This was not like 40 years ago. This was not like 20 years ago. The summer that we have today is just so hot. It's not only the hot temperature, but it's the heat factor that adds more to the heat that we are experiencing even today. Now, there are several means of power. But in the early times, we are actually using coal power. Energy comes from coal. Of course, you know for a fact that coal cannot be recycled anymore. Moreover, coal harm people through air pollution. So actually, we're trying to get out of the coal energy now. See, I mean, we have a lot of coal mines in the Philippines, and we're not even making use of it because of the pollution that coal is bringing. So choosing to consume less energy will provide many positive impacts to both people and the environment. Ngayon na ang panahon para tayo ay sumali sa isang energy-saving movement. Okay? At maging energy efficient tayo sa ating mga appliances. Alright. So, to convince everyone to make the switch to sustainable lifestyle, ito yung mga top beneficial reasons to make your humble abode an energy efficient one. And I have to learn that too. All of us have to learn that too. Okay? Whether you're rich or poor, you know what? We don't conserve actually power energy. First of all, saving electricity means you save money. And one of the most appealing benefits of consuming less energy is the opportunity to save money. So therefore, if you conserve energy, just learn, just think it in your own mind. I am saving money that I could be able to use for something more important than what I'm having now. And number two, reduces the fossil fuel. Yung paggamit po ng fossil fuel. Okay, para maunawaan natin ang ibig sabihin nito, ano ba itong mga fossil fuels na ito? So why don't we watch this video?
Fossil fuels. Fossil fuel is a term used to describe a group of energy sources that were formed from ancient plants and organisms during the Carboniferous period approximately 360 to 286 million years ago, even before the age of dinosaurs. At that time, the land was covered with swamps filled with organisms and plants. As they died, they sank to the bottom of swamps and oceans and over millions of years started decomposing under layers of sand, clay, and other minerals. Different types of fossil fuels formed depending on the combination of organic matter, temperature, time, and pressure conditions while decomposing. There are three major types of fossil fuels: coal, oil, and natural gas. Coal was formed from ferns, plants, and trees, which hardened due to pressure and heat. Oil was formed from small organisms like zooplankton and algae, where pressure caused the more complex organic matter to decompose. Natural gas was formed by the same process as oil, only it was exposed to more heat and pressure, causing it to further decompose and turn into a gaseous form. Fossil fuels are sought-after energy sources because they have a high energy density. They are the world's dominant energy source. Fossil fuels have a variety of applications from electricity production to transport fuels. They can also be used to make a variety of common products, from plastics to cosmetics to even some medicines. These resources have powered industrialization over history and continue to do so today. Fossil fuels can be an abundant and cheap, or in some cases, a scarce and expensive form of energy, depending on geographic location. For this reason, geopolitical issues arise due to scarcity caused by the natural geographic allocation of these highly valuable resources. Fossil fuels are considered non-renewable resources because they take millions of years to form, which means that once they are used, the resources will not be replenished in a human lifetime. The gradual depletion of the most accessible fossil fuel reserves have forced companies to develop technologies for extracting more challenging or unconventional reserves. In many cases, this means additional safety and environmental concerns as well as higher costs. Fossil fuels are also the largest emitters of carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas which causes climate change. In addition, their production causes both environmental and human health issues. These concerns have triggered society to look at alternate sources of energy that are more environmentally sustainable and renewable. That's fossil fuels.
Okay, so here we find fossil fuel are burned to produce energy. Many of our manufacturing companies still use fossil fuel, and I think it's more dangerous because ang negative effect po nito ay yung environment natin. Tumutumi ang ating environment, yung polluted ang ating environment. the burning of fossil fuel produces heat-trapping gases. All right? Kaya nagkakaroon po tayo ng tinatawag ng global warming. Of course, we do not believe in the first episode of the video where there was a carboniferous age, no? Well, millions upon millions of years, of course. We don't believe that. But in any way, carbon footprint refers to the environmental impact of a certain individual to the environment. Carbon footprint has two types, primary and secondary. The primary footprint refers to all the carbon dioxide emissions created when fossil fuels are burned. The secondary carbon footprint refers to the indirect carbon dioxide emission formed through manufacturing or breaking various products. Okay, that's the reason why I was telling you that many of our manufacturing firms use fossil fuel. And it is not actually good for the environment because it produces carbon dioxide, which we do not have anymore enough trees to be able to turn it over to oxygen. See? So, what is the carbon footprint exactly? So let's watch this video so we'll be able to know what the carbon footprint exactly is.
This is you. You've probably been hearing a lot about climate change and how you should reduce your carbon footprint. But what is that exactly? Just like an actual footprint, it's a mark you leave upon the environment. No, not with your shoes, but with every action that releases carbons. Those are the harmful gases, such as CO2, which are pumped out by burning fossil fuels like oil or gas. The more fuel you use, the bigger your footprint will be. You may think that by driving your car, the only carbons you release come from the engine, but no. Consider the carbons that are emitted just to get fuel into the tank. From the energy needed to extract the oil from underground, the pollution caused by transportation and refinement, to the final delivery to your local petrol station. Not to mention the CO2 released by manufacturing your car in the first place. More than you thought, huh? So unless you live in a cave, you and everything you own has its own carbon footprint. Read a book? Printing and distributing. It uses energy. Brush your teeth, and your utensils will have a history in a factory. Even something as basic as an apple could have traveled hundreds or even thousands of polluting miles to end up in your local supermarket. You see, it's pretty much impossible to leave no carbon footprint behind, but that's no reason to stop trying. Think about your actions and choices, and you'll be able to reduce your personal mark after all. That's how you really put the boot into climate change.
Para palang virus yan. No? Para palang virus. So, I guess we cannot get away from oil for still, for many, many years. Now, you talk about biogas, no? Or hybrid cars, for example. But you know what? The thing is, we do not have enough timber or lumber to produce biogas. See? So we have to just be content with fossil fuel, for example. Everything is using oil. Cars, lahat yan. And every time na bumubuga ang mga mufflers niyan, every time ni mga manufacturing firms, bumubuga ng mga usok yan, it harms the environment. You see, although there are several inventions already to lessen the impact to the environment of fossil fuel. But of course, you would notice in any city, like in Beijing or like in Los Angeles or like in Tokyo, Japan, like here in Manila also, what do we find? Because of the carbon dioxide and even the carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, we are getting more polluted. And I'm so glad that we have some rain, because rain takes away the pollution. Okay? Now, So, here we are to conserve or preserve the earth that God gave to us. Conserving the environment. Consuming less energy or cutting back on the electricity use will lessen the need to produce energy. And then, there will be less carbon dioxide emissions that will contribute to climate change. Thus, we're going to have a cleaner and a healthier air. So, paano ito? So, household energy conservation tips. Ang source po nito, ang Department of Energy natin. Okay. Naniniwala ako, there is a big reason why we ought to conserve energy. Darating po ang panahon na we're going to have real problems. Right now, Taiwan has a problem on drought, you see. And of course, meron doon bagyo, pero dumadaan po yung bagyo, dumadaan lang yan, it leaves a good amount of water, but it does not solve the drought. Right now, Taiwan experiencing drought, and Taiwan holds a lot of manufacturing on IT. Ay pag hindi na gumagana yan, maapekta ng buong mundo dyan, di ba? Okay. So ito, these are tips from a DOE to conserve electricity and save some cash from high electricity bill. Now, please take note, I was watching the news tonight and I was told that we might have rotational brownouts again until July or even until August because of a higher demand for power. So, what do? Let us conserve energy. Okay? On electronics, for example, better to use a laptop than by a computer because laptops use less energy than desktop computers. Avoid energy vampires. Even when they are turned off, home electronics in standby mode use energy to power features. Okay? Number 3, set your computer to sleep or hibernate mode. Ako, pinapatay lahat ng mga computers na yan, before you go to sleep. Okay? Instead of using a screensaver, So it uses less electricity during periods of inactivity. O ano pa? Unplug battery chargers. Kasi alam nyo, pag matutulog ka na, yun lang ang pagkakataon na you are able to charge all of your gadgets, di ba? Ako, ganun ang ginagawa ko palagi. Pero pag hindi na ginagamit yan, let's learn to unplug them. When the batteries are fully charged, syempre tulog ka na, hindi mo malalaman yan. Pero ako, nagigising ako ng madaling araw, nakikita ko, fully charged na pala to. So, dapat lang natanggalin natin sa socket yung plug. Okay? Plug electronics into a powered strip. Then turn the strip off when not in use to save on energy costs. Electronics. How about cooling? Buy an aircon with a high energy efficiency ratio indicated in the yellow label. Ngayon, uso ng inverter, if you still have the traditional air conditioners, it's better for you to just, don't use it anymore. Use the newer ones, the inverter ones, because it will save you, sabi nila, 60% of the power cost. You see? Change or clean your AC's filters regularly. O dapat meron nagbe-maintain ng mga aircon mo, di ba? O dapat, for example, like if you put aircon in your own house, that there ought to be a very good tinatawag nating maintenance support. Okay? So, by regularly cleaning the filters and condensers of a 1 horsepower conventional aircon unit, you will save 100 pesos monthly. 100 pesos lang pala, no? Okay, kayang-kaya ba natin yan, di ba? Okay. Oh, block the sun from overheating your home. That's why there are what we may term to be insulators. You put insulators on the ceiling to be able to block the heat of the sun. Okay, inside your own house, use curtains, shades, blinds, drapes. Outside, use awnings, trees, shrubs. Mas maganda pag ang bahay mo marami mga tanim, di ba? Okay, produce more oxygen and takes away carbon dioxide. Decorate for a cooler home by hanging light-colored curtains that allow light to enter a room while blocking some of the sun's rays, and light-colored paint to reflect the heat. Ganun pala yan, di ba? Okay. Ito pa, determine your comfort level. When using an aircon, set the temperature at 25 degrees centigrade or 24 degrees centigrade. All right. Now, of course, if it's very hot, now, when it's raining na, you could be able to increase the temperature. On lighting, convert your lighting system from compact fluorescent light to light-emitting diodes, or we call it LED, LED, di ba? Yan ang ginagamit ngayon ng karamihan, LED lights, as it saves as much as 50% of energy. Oh, man, lost na yung mga incandescent lamps, yung mga traditional lamps, sapagkat talagang matindi yan sa kuryente. So many houses, even the rich people, are now using light-emitting diodes or LED. And use the right bulb. Make sure you are using the appropriate CFL bulb for your light fixture. So they come in various sizes and types for different lighting needs, no? Siguro din naman kinakailangan ng maliwanag yung kwarto mo. Ako, I always switch off the light before I go to sleep because I cannot sleep with some lights on. You see? So put off lights that are not needed. Put it off. Okay? Turning off one light bulb for 6 hours will save you 25 pesos a month. Can you imagine if you have 100 bulbs in your own house times 25 pesos a month? That's 2,500 you save for a month. Clean the tubes of the lamp regularly. Use natural lighting when feasible. Okay? Now, for example, my own house is fully air-conditioned. And the air conditioning is very modern. We save money on that because they're all inverters. We're not using window air conditioner or even what do you call that? Yung ibang mga ginagamit, no? But we're using air conditioners that are put up on the ceiling. But then, in the morning, during daytime, even nighttime, we do not use air conditioners in the living room. What we do is we open the windows, we open the doors, so that natural air can come in, even if it's quite hot outside. But natural air can still come in. And that's even good, no, for the pandemic, when you have an open air, ventilated rooms. On appliances, refrigerators, repair refrigerator door seals. Pag yung door seals mo, yung refrigerator door mo, minsan umaangat ng konti yan. At mapapansin mo yan, lumalabig na ilabas. Di ba? Repair the seals of the refrigerator. And when there is moisture outside the refrigerator, you know that something is wrong. So, repair it. Okay? Clean the condenser tube regularly. Sa likod doon, may condenser yan. Clean it regularly. Minimize door openings as much as possible. Do not try to open the refrigerator door and let it remain open for quite some time. Minimize it. And be sure that when you open it, when you close it, don't just let it close by itself. Okay? Close it properly and really be sure that when you leave the refrigerator, that it's not half open. All right? See, cool air escapes every time the refrigerator door is open. See? And door opening accounts for 7% of the consumption, assuming you open the fridge door 42 times in a day. We don't do it here. Okay? Now, and if you buy a refrigerator, you always buy a refrigerator with high energy efficiency factor. And as I've said, preferably with an inverter technology. So, you've got to replace old refrigerators that have been there for 10 years or 15 years. Why? Because they consume a lot of energy. Maganda talaga ngayon pag yung kanyang aircon or refrigerator should be more of an inverter technology. Washing machine. Better if you're not using washing machine. If you're just using the traditional laba. Di ba? But of course, to make it, easier, di ba? Because you have a lot of things to do, you're busy. So you buy a washing machine. Buy a washing machine with a front loader, not the top loaders. The front loader, okay? And separate wash loads into light and heavy fabrics for the shortest drying time. Yun ang ginagawa namin dito. My wife is very good at that. Or better yet, air dry your lightest fabrics. We do not usually, yung mga sensitive fabrics, we do not put that in the dryer. Delikado yan, okay? Wash full loads of clothes when possible. We are not even, my clothes are quite sensitive, that we do not even put it in the washing machine. Di ba? We, our kasambahay would just wash it traditionally. Or of course, kami, because we do not have really the luxury of time washing everything. So what we do is we just go to the laundry shop and let the laundry shop take care of our clothes. Wash and dry several loads at once. Do not try to always wash in the washing machine and dry it every day. No, don't do that. Okay? All right. So that your dryer isn't completely cooled down when it heats up for the next load. Hang dress clothing to air dry on portable laundry racks. This is the good, yung bang matagal na traditional na nung araw na nagsasampay ka. Yan pa rin ang pinakabaganda ngayon. Okay? Clean the dryer lint filter before every load to keep your dryer running efficiently. Or for example, like television. Power down and unplug the television completely when you are not using it. Oo. So, gawin mo yan, Billy. Sa mga television natin sa baba, unplug it. Unplug it. Kasi pag plug pa rin yan, mapasok pa yan ng kuryente dyan, di ba? Oh. Well, check the volume. Ako, medyo high volume ako manood di ba? But check the volume. The higher the volume, the higher the electricity usage. Lower the contrast and brightness on your set and watch TV in low light. Double any quick start option that leaves the TV on standby mode as default. See, yan, turo yan ng DOE sa atin, ha? On cooking, anong gagawin mo unang una? Plan before you cook. Ano ba lulutuin mo? Ano ba gagamitin mo? Plan before you cook. Match your pot size to the burner on your stove. Hindi pwedeng yung flat yung stove mo, yung mga bago ngayon. Di ba? Pagkatapos lalagay ka ng kawali dyan, pag ganyan. Alright? Use tight-fitting covers on pots and pans when cooking on the stove to shorten your cooking time and save energy. Turn off your oven or burners when food is almost ready and let existing heat finish the cooking for you. Do not always use the what do you call that? Yung iniinit mo, what do you call that? Kalimutan ko na. Hindi oven. Yung pang-init, pag nag-iinit ka na kung ano. Anong tawag doon? Okay, don't always use that sapagkat napakalaki ng wattage niya. Nag-average ng 600 watts ang isang unit na ganyan. Anong tawag doon? Microwave. Yun. Tama. Thank you, Kuya Joey. Microwave. Yan. Don't use it often. Okay? Huwag mong gagamitin panluto yan where you let the microwave cook your food and it's there for 45 minutes. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Better still, you ought to have a toaster oven. Yung mga toaster natin na maliliit na mura lang yan, no? Yan ang gamitin mo. And kung talagang gusto mo makamura, hindi ka nagagamit ng energy, talagang sabihin natin na, okay, you are okay with additional stoves. Meron nabibiling stove sa palengke na ginagamitan pa rin ng kahoy. O kaya ng baon ng nyog. Meron ganyan at meron pang efficient na natural traditional stove that you could be able to use. Okay? So, by taking the time to consider the question, why is it important to conserve electricity? You may find yourself more motivated to do your part. Conserving energy benefits both you and the environment. And let's so begin conserving electricity in our homes today. It will really benefit you for many years to come. All right? I mean, very important that we should do this. Okay? Now, I mean, I'm using a lot of lights right now while doing the BMA Chronicles. But all of these lights are LED lights. Okay? LED lights. And afterwards, we're going to switch them off. We're going to switch off the computer. We're going to switch off everything, things like this. I do not switch off my cell phone. Why? Because sometimes there's an emergency. Yeah. Sabi ni Pastor Noel Batayo, uling. Merong uling na hindi masyadong nagpapaitim ng kawali. Totoo yun. Meron na sila ngayong nagagawa. Alam mo, Pilipino, talagang, indigenous and ingenious. Oo. Marami na yan na pwede natin gawin. Siguro nga ako, titanong ko kung makakabili ko ng ganyan para, pag halimbawa, you're using a stove that is more on electricity. Pag nag-brown out yan, wala ka na. Kumuha ka ng traditional. Of course, ang stove na ginagamit naman natin palagi, we're using LPG, no? And delikado lang yan. LPG, mag-ingat lang kayo dyan sapagkat minsan, pag nagkaroon ng leak yan, it can cause fire. So, kinakailangan, you are always checking the LPG regularly. Always check the LPG regularly. Okay? So, I mean, I hope that with our BMA Chronicles tonight, I have at least given you something to think about. I have at least given you something that we can do to save the cost and for us to be able to save some money so that you could be able to give more to your offerings, di ba? Or you could be able to buy more things that's good for your children and for your family than just spending a lot of money on power, electricity, and energy. In Genesis 2:15, which is our Bible verse today, it says, "And the Lord God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it." You would notice that the Lord did not make man and a woman even in their innocent state, to be lazy. They have a work to do. And the Lord just told them, okay, you're there. I want you to dress the garden. I want you to keep the garden. I want you to do something about it. I want it clean. Ang ibig sabihin nito, meron tayong responsibility. And we should do our responsibility even in our age and time in which modern gadgets are just there. And the more gadgets you have that use electricity, the more spending you're going to have. That's why we should conserve energy. All right? So yun po ang ating gustong pag-usapan ngayong gabi. I hope that and pray that you have learned something that you could be able to use. The BMA Chronicles is always a program that will teach you about the Word of God, that will present some issues to you that affects our lives, that will give you something to think about, that will actually give you something to do, like health issues, history, theology, all right, moral issues, all kinds. Makakaasa kayo. The BMA Chronicles will always be something, a program that will help you in your life. All right? May the Lord bless you. Ako yung papaalam na. Good night to all of you. Have a good night's sleep. Ciao. Bye-bye. God bless you.